I'm Gail Simone, writer of Vertigo's Clean Room, as well as written for Batgirl, Wonder Woman, Justice League Unlimited, various video games, and pop culture type of things. And you are watching Sequentially Yours. Have a great day.
Next time I find myself, next time I find myself, it's time
This is Things You Enjoy, you can call me Karu. Being a fan is not easy. Most of it's waiting, really. Waiting for the next season, waiting for the next issue, waiting in line, waiting on that package with that t-shirt to show everybody how much of a fan you are. You follow bands or characters or online content creators. Hi, my 8 fans! You experience their ups and downs, you anticipate what they may make next, and then you have to decide whether to tear through it or to hold yourself back and savor it. And you love it, because that's what being a fan is. Loving something so much that it's worth all the work you put into it, even if you only get a fraction of the amount of effort back from doing so. That's what The Wicked and the Divine is about. The Wicked and the Divine, or WicDiv to fans, is a comic written by Kieran Gillen and illustrated by Jamie McKelvey, published by Image Comics. Gillen and McKelvey have been working with each other for several years, and by all accounts are best friends in the sense that they poke fun at one another and play pranks on one another and do all the well-meaning ribbing that we do with the people we love the most. Sorry guys, saw right through it. They also did another collaboration for Image several years ago called Phonogram, which we'll get right back to. The remarkably spoiler-tastic plot go with thusly. Every 90 years, a somewhat random assortment of gods from various mythical and spiritual traditions are reincarnated in the bodies of living people. There are always 10, and while some of them switch out occasionally, the ones we start with this time are Amaterasu, Baal, Baphomet, Inanna, Minerva, the Morrigan, Sekhmet, Woden, Terra, and Lucifer, better known as Lucy. The Pantheon, as they're called, only get to live 2 years before they will die once again and not be able to return for another 90. If they aren't shuffled out for another god altogether. So in order to make the most of their time on Earth, they've decided to become pop stars this time around because it's the best way to be worshipped in the 21st century. And with centuries of being worshipped, they are very good at it. Each has their own approach, their own style, and their own hang-ups that we learn over time. But they aren't our main characters. Our main character is Laura, one of the fans of the various parts of the Pantheon. She's a fangirl, but not in the screaming way. She doesn't chase members of the Pantheon or stalk them, she just loves their work. And it's that love that gets her involved with various members of the Pantheon, especially Lucy, who gets accused of murder and then is shortly thereafter murdered herself. Laura starts to become famous for having been close to her, which is just one problem our favorite fangirl has to deal with while trying to untangle the very twisty interactions of the other gods who have taken a liking to her now as well. Kieran Gillen has written that while Phonogram, his and McKelvey's story about people who use Britpop to fuel their magical powers, is about loving art, WicDiv is about creating art. However, I don't feel that there's much of a line between those two things, at least not at this point in the story. Laura's perspective is just on the outside of things. She's that first person in line for the book signing, watching the author get ready through the glass and seeing the shopkeeper scurrying around to handle the line. Things are happening, but she's only getting pieces. But she also wants to just be a fan. She experienced a spark of creativity that threw her into the spotlight, and she does not want to be in the spotlight. After Lucy dies, Laura absentmindedly tries to use the powers of the Pantheon and lights a cigarette with the snap of her fingers, but can't replicate it. Laura was given a moment of creativity, taking a small step from becoming a fan to becoming a creator, but she struggles to replicate it, and I think that's because she doesn't want to. She wants to be in the crowd, where her responsibility is to love, not to be loved, which carries a whole lot of different issues with it. Gillen also compares this change in perspective to a personal journey, where he once wanted to express his own love as a fan and now wants to express the joys of being a creator. I think he's right about that, but I also think there's another element at play. When he first wrote Phonogram, he was also a music critic, and I see much more of the critic in David Cole and the other Phonomancers. They love the music with all their soul, but they also expect it to be transformative so that they can transform it. As a critic of any sort, you have to expect more out of media than mere consumption. Whether you're a music critic, or a comic critic, or a culture critic, or whatever, you recognize that in the things you love, there is that energy that makes you want to create yourself. The Phonomancers take that energy and make magic just like real-life critics take media and make new media for others to enjoy. In a way, this is how the Pantheon behaves. As fans, we like to think that the people who create the art we love are all kind and generous and compassionate, and many are, including the brilliant person who allowed me to parody her so that I could talk about something that doesn't fit in my normal format. But the Pantheon is not kind and generous and compassionate. If mythology has taught us anything, it's that the gods tend to be capricious and alien and selfish and at least some level of cruel. Western traditions make a big deal out of free will as a uniquely human trait, but from a mythological standpoint, empathy is what the gods are generally incapable of experiencing, and that's no less true in WicDiv. The Pantheon is full of creatures that only vaguely seem to hang on to their previous human selves. They've been given the power to create suddenly, but there's no indication that they love their creations for the most part. They didn't give the love of fandom to something and have inspiration returned to them, so they treat their fans/worshippers as gods would. Toys to be distracted by and discarded. Woden even says, "I'm a god, not a saint." Ain't that the truth? They each have their own pain and are unable to understand that other people can feel pain as well, even one another. Many of their fans, though, are the same way. Unlike the critics of Phonogram, the great unnamed legions of Pantheon fans in WicDiv don't want to create. They want the objects of their worship to create for them. They're not content to give their love and see bits of that love reflected back. They want the whole thing to be about them, but don't want to make it themselves. Laura works as a protagonist because she accepts the Pantheon as they are. She got close to Lucy because she saw art instead of evil. Baphomet and the Morrigan like her because she respects their need for secrets and to always be changing. Inanna likes that Laura will listen when nobody else will. Her fandom is about giving so that others will create what they want, no matter what that is. And that really is what being a fan is about, isn't it? We give a little bit of who we are so it can be made into something else, and then we get to see a part of ourselves reflected back in that thing. That's what WicDiv is about, and that's what being a fan is about. Thanks for watching. So, at this point, I should probably point out that there is a Patreon button up here someplace, and also if you could please like this video and subscribe and share it with your friends, put it on Twitter, put it on Facebook, get it out there. I just need to kind of talk for a little while here because that's kind of what happens at the end of this videos, but I do very much want you to like and subscribe right down there in the doobly-doo, and Patreon. I could really use the Patreon. It would really help me make more of these. Maybe my own format. Alright, thanks a lot. Hey!
Surprised? What did you expect? Someone else?
Well, normally when somebody does one of these kinds of videos, the person who they're...
What the fuck was that?
I don't know what you mean.
You know exactly what I meant! You stole this format! Do you think you can just go around taking other people's work? Do you?
I mean, it's a format. It's not really...
Shut up!
Yes, ma'am.
Good, because as your first offense, I'm only gonna set your balls on fire!
But that doesn't actually make any...
If you steal anyone else's bit again, I will stick you in your eye sockets first! Scream incoherently if you understand. Good.
Delegation is the key to success.